Good evening, race fans. Welcome to the Core Racing Network. Tonight, we got the final race of the playoff round for the Core Xfinity Series presented by Elwood Designs, and it takes us to the concrete 1.5 mile track here of Nashville Superspeedway, and this thing it can get very interesting for sure. It's kind of a mix between your other concrete tracks, your Bristol and your the Dover certainly are different. They got a lot more banking, but they got some of the similarities when it comes to the handling in these corners. It can get really sketchy when it comes to tire wear as well. This track can certainly eat them up. So we'll see who's got the endurance and the distance on their tires and who can survive here. And really, survivors is going to be the key when it comes to the playoffs. Unfortunately, we don't have the playoff graphic updated here tonight, but we'll give you a quick rundown of that. Obviously, we mentioned James Scioly and Clayton Montgomery locked in for the Platinum Division. Alan Elwood leads the points, and unless something were to happen or Shayne Therrien or Niiko Garcia were to win here tonight, Alan Elwood would make it through on points. But again, if Shayne Therrien or Niiko Garcia wins here tonight, they lock themselves in. Alan Elwood and the other would be out. In the gold division, a good 36-point buffer for AJ Roderick. Just kind of needs to finish this race here tonight, and he should be good to go moving on through. Tyler Scoczen, 6 points ahead of the cut line. Kevin Foster, 5 points ahead, and then Bronson Stafford is 5 points behind. Justin Muncill, 39 points behind in the gold. In the silver division, Josh Van Westen, 26 points ahead of the cut line. John Nobinger up 10. Tyler Bramble up 8. And then you got Matt Crockett down 8. Blake Erickson down 55. And in the bronze division, Joey Cruz is up 18. Jon Crain up 7. Joe Thomas up 3. And then you got Dan Phelps down 3 and Jeremy Gainey down 7. But again, any of those drivers that are not locked in, anyone other than James Scioly and Clayton Montgomery, a win would put them through into the championship round next week at Auto Club Speedway. Carl Lamb, we're joined in the booth by Jimmy Covert. Jimmy, a little bit on the line here tonight.
A little bit. Really waiting to see who has got the patience and who's going to be kind of stressing a little bit to put themselves into a place to where they can get to the final round and where it matters the most, where you can maybe bring home a small prize. So definitely going to be interesting here tonight. Obviously, Nashville Superspeedway, not really a super speedway, and it's concrete. So the tearing up the tires, and there's a lot of variables here tonight. So you can't just mash your pedal to the metal, and the outcome is going to be what you want. But looks like Alan Elwood is going to be up front to start this thing, and he needs to stay there all night, or at least get a better finish than his teammates that need the win to get in.
Well, we're going to get this thing going right away. We're not going to waste any time with the pace laps. The pace car is in, and we'll hand it over to Barney up in the flag stand and wait for that first green flag as we are racing here at Nashville Superspeedway. We got 80 laps on tap here tonight as the cars will send off into turn number 1.
Go down into the corners they go, and too wide here and there, and I think you're going to see these cars kind of single file out, hopefully here, especially early, so they don't get involved in any early incidents. But you can see right now is obviously some of the drivers need to make their way up front to get that really good finish. So, but plenty of laps here to wrap this thing up, and we're going to have an incident back here with the 85 and 10, 121.
Already a big incident. It looked like somebody got into the wall there to start that off. Not sure if that was Dan Phelps getting into the wall to start that one, but it certainly can happen here pretty quickly, especially coming off that final corner onto the tri-oval stretch there. Take a look back and see what may have brought that one out. Yeah. And already started there, so let's try that again. We'll just go ahead and rewind it back to the start of that thing, and it looked like the 34 in front there just touches the wall, and not sure if that got the 121 spooked or not, but now the 121 up there into the wall as well. So Van Westen into the wall and then into the side of the 85. puts them both into the wall. 121 bounces off, collects the 10. And you see a hard impact between the 10 and the 85. And then the 121 gets tagged pretty hard by the 216 as well. Going to bring out our first caution early on here tonight, so certainly going to be some takers into the pits that were involved in the wreck. A little bit too early for anybody else to come into the pits, even for a little splash and go. I mean, it's an option, but if you have any takers this time by. But it'll give us a chance to give a rundown here of the entire field and who is out here tonight. You got Alan Elwood that is and was on the pole, JP Phelps, Jack Stoneman, Tyler Skoczen, Joey Cruz, and Kevin Foster. Actually, Joey Cruz for your top 5, and then Kevin Foster, Shayne Therrien, Chris Hamilton making a debut out here, AJ Roderick, and John Nobinger for your top 10. Then you got Bronson Stafford, Jeff Ryan, Tyler Bramble, last week's winner Tommy Ryan, James Scioly, Jon Crain, Davey Hendricks for your top 17. Jeremy Gainey in 18th, and then you got a few drivers into the pits. You got Robert Kenny, Joe Thomas, Josh Van Westen, Dan Phelps, Joe Sullivan, Louis Arduna. Looks like Tony Bramble was here, not going to take the field here tonight. Matt Crockett moving up as he made an early pit stop here. We'll see, he may have to drop to the back, making that early pit stop. But got a nice 25-car field out here tonight. A few involved in this first one, but we'll get this thing sorted out. And again, we got 80 laps here on tap for the playoff round finale. Again, tonight will determine the 3 drivers from each division that will be racing for their division championships next week. We still have the overall standings that is going on as well. And just to give a heads up on that, you got Clayton Montgomery leading by 14 in the Platinum division over Alan Elwood. In the Gold division, it is AJ Roderick leading by just a mere 79 points over Jack Stoneman. But Stoneman has been making some inroads these last couple weeks and really taking some chunks into that. So we'll see if he continues here. Good start here tonight, starting in second. In the Silver division, it is Josh Van Westen leading Tyler Bramble by and John Nobinger by 55 as they are tied for second. And then in the Bronze division, Joey Cruz leads Dan Phelps by 40 points coming into tonight. Base car lights are out. We're going to get this thing back under green, and hopefully we get some green flag laps. Hopefully they understand now. Coming out of 4, it can get treacherous here real quick.
Yeah, definitely can get real busy here at Nashville Superspeedway. Now these cars got a little bit of a couple, well, at least a lap on these tires, but this will help them extend things out. I don't think you're going to see many people giving up track position. It can get pretty difficult here. So gotta know your surroundings, take your time, a little bit of patience, get that run, take that opportunity, but make it clean and safe. But they're getting ready to restart here as they're getting ready to exit turn number 4.
And it's worth noting, the first couple races of the playoffs, you had Clayton Montgomery and James Scioly getting the wins. But last week it was Tommy Ryan pulling the upset, and not even a playoff driver out there. So we'll see if somebody else can step up, see if JP Phelps or Jack Stoneman can get up there and steal a win away from these guys. But already Alan Elwood back on that loud pedal. He's looking to try and get a win and really absolutely concrete secure his way into the championship finale. The winningest driver this season, but has been stymied here a little bit in the playoffs. We'll see if he can pick it up here at Nashville. Already a good restart. Side-by-side battle between Phelps and Stoneman for second. And a good battle back there as well. Kevin Foster on the outside of Joey Cruz. Cruz having a heck of a run out here tonight. Obviously the bronze championship leader in both the overall and the playoffs. Already up here in the top 5.
Yeah, and Joey's always had the speed at a few tracks to kind of give the gold drivers and even some of the platinum drivers a run for the money. And I think it's what hinders the number 28 is a little bit of an inconsistency and ends up in the wall or makes a bad decision and finds himself towards the back of the pack. So I wish him the best of luck there, and hopefully that car will keep going forward here and he'll make smart decisions and give him a good chance to win that bronze championship.
Let's take a look at the 70. Certainly a man that doesn't mind moving up through the field. He's got Tommy Ryan right behind him as well. Scioly starting back there in 22nd, and Tommy Ryan starting back there in 21st. So both these drivers trying to work their way up through the field carefully, as they definitely want to get caught up in anything. 3 wide back there as the 00 Davey Hendricks trying to look to the inside of Tommy Ryan, but backs out of it. And they get the Ryan brothers side of each other. You got Tommy on the inside of the 66, the 34 of Jeff on the outside, but Tommy's going to get the better of it. Up front, Alan Elwood trying to check out. He's got about a half a second lead here. Jack Stoneman did clear JP Phillips for second place. Skoczen, Foster are now your top 5. Then you got Cruz, Roderick, Hamilton, Therrien, and Nobinger for your top 10.
As these drivers will continue to make their way around here, obviously nose to tail, single file most of the way back to the field. So definitely an interesting one here as Alan Elwood continues to lead. So back there with Tony Bramble battling with, I think that's Hendricks on the inside, but they're coming down past the start-finish line. So
everyone seems to be straightened out here and single file again. It's 80 laps on tap here tonight, so you're going to want to run this thing out. And again, you have to really move on the tires here. It's got a little bit of banking in the corners, but not as much as you really want to, especially on a concrete track. So it's going to eat them up a lot quicker than you realize. And your first maybe 5 laps or so are going to feel nice and clean. Then all of a sudden, the tire drop-off is going to happen pretty quickly. But got a couple of drivers in the pit lane still, as it looks like Luis Orduna and Dan Phelps still in pit lane here and going down now multiple laps. So it could be the end of the night and the end of the championship hopes for the 85 and Dan Phelps. But out front, it is still the 5 of Alan Elwood showing the way. I thank everyone out there for tuning in here tonight. If you haven't done so yet, hit that like and subscribe and get you in touch with everything SCRN has to offer. We got a couple seasons coming to a close here pretty soon, as we got obviously 2 more races here left in the Core Xfinity Series. On Thursday nights, we got just 2 more races left in the Core GT Series. Wednesday night, we have the season finale tomorrow night for CSRL, and they'll have a couple weeks off before they start up their new season. We got a couple new ones that are starting up and just started. We had on Sunday night, we had a new series for us, the 191 Motorsports, as they put on a great opening race at Daytona. And then this coming Monday night, we're also going to have a new series, the Hold Your Brakes Association ARCA series, as we'll bring them live on Monday night. So even though we have 3 of them that are going to be ending, we're going to have a couple more that are going to be showing up here on your schedule. So plenty of racing as always on CRN. Looks like we did get Clayton Montgomery not going to be in the race here tonight, but luckily for him, he is already locked in to the championship. He's off learning how to be a better cop tonight is the reason he is not here tonight. But so far so good. We got these drivers strung out here now a little bit and got some good green flag racing.
Yeah, they just need to get warmed up, I think. Obviously, the early incident there. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this thing all pans out and how long they can go and what kind of show they can put on for the fans out here. But definitely still a lot of single file. Obviously, some drivers probably feeling a little bit of pain right now as the tires have heated up, and you're letting off in them corners a lot longer than you think you do.
Yeah, it's definitely a track where you got to know how to roll the car through the corners, and you just got to be patient with the gas and the application getting back on there. But you see the field. I mean, you take a look at the track map, and the Skittles are certainly starting to spread out. We got a couple drivers. Looks like back in the field is the 73 of Luis Orduna, and Dan Phelps appears to be back out there as well. Now, Dan Phelps looks like he did call it for the night. The 73 of Orduna is back out there and running. But out front, now leading by a second, is the 5 of Alan Elwood.
Yeah, he's obviously probably, you know, had a couple of rough weeks. And he's not, I mean, he's got the points lead, he's got the position right now to make the playoffs. But, you know, he's on that brink, kind of like if he loses to somebody that's in the playoffs. He couldn't see himself sitting out, even being the most winningest driver all season. So the five kind of needs a set of precedents to kind of get out front and take his time. And he's got a nice little lead, so now he could probably just kind of chill a little bit and be easy on them tires. I mean, it's not real easy to pass here, and if any of these drivers are pushing really hard, the tires are going to heat up, and Allen's not no slouch when it comes to getting around them, so you need either a clear advantage with tires to get around them, or he makes a mistake. So, and the 5 doesn't make many mistakes. Obviously, we've seen like a few, but not very many. That's why he's on top of the points. He's got the most wins, and looking to make a run for that championship and get it back to back here also as the series sponsor.
Yeah, luckily for him, he's actually only going to deal with essentially one driver out there. The only driver he's got to worry about is his teammate Shayne Therrien back there right now in 6th position, because Niiko Garcia not in the field here tonight. So the only one that could upset him and keep him out of that championship race is the 9 of Shayne Therrien, and kind of vice versa. The only way that Shayne Therrien is going to get in there is pretty much by a win. Even if Elwood has a bad race here tonight, if he gets wrecked out for whatever reason, this could end up being his drop race, and he may still have enough points to be right there. So I think it's kind of a win it or bin it kind of situation here for the 09 here tonight of Shayne Therrien. See if he can get it done and be that 3rd and final driver in the Platinum Division to move on. But he's got his teammate right in front of him as well. AJ Roderick having a great season here in the gold. As long as they get some cautions for those pit stops, as got a good green flag run ruin it right now, and we'll see if we do get some green flag pit stops. But AJ obviously having a nice comfortable lead in that gold, and just kind of wants to have I think a good solid clean race here tonight, running in 5th place right now. Top running gold driver is right in front of him, that being Tyler Scoczen, trying to find a way to get to the championship race as well. But the field nice and spread out right now. We still got 24 cars out there running, and leading that pack by now 2 seconds is Alan Elwood. But middle of the pack, you can see it right here. It's a straight line. It's one by one here, but it all is kind of starting to concertina a little bit here, and everybody's starting to get close to each other. Now we got a couple battles brewing. Scioly to the inside here of Joey Cruz. Maybe Cruz running it just a little bit too aggressively in those early laps and starting to burn off those tires, and now you see that number 028 dropping back after starting in 4th. He is now back in 9th, trying to hang on to the top 10.
Yeah, and that's one thing, and was a big downfall of mine when I used to run ovals, was to get up there and get a great qualifying, and basically got the great qualifying by overdriving the car and not being able to save them tires. So after about a few laps, I'd start falling back and start struggling, and just couldn't find like what I was doing wrong, as just kind of along for the ride and just watch everybody go by one. So Joe definitely got some challenge to keep that 028 up there for the rest of the race, especially the way they're going now here, as they're looking to go quite a few laps here on the green.
Update on James Scioly again, starting back there in the 22nd position. He is now up to 6th as he moves around teammate AJ Roderick. And you got Tommy Ryan not too far behind him as well, trying to work his way through and stick right to the back bumper of that 70. See if they can both move their way through the field, as Roderick going to slam the door shut for the time being on the 66. Battle right behind is seeing once again Joey Cruz and Kevin Foster going at it. This time Foster again on the outside, trying to work his way around the 028. Foster, typically one of those guys that tries to be a little bit more cautious on the early part of the run and really use up his equipment later in the run, especially his fuel. So maybe we're starting to see that number 8 come alive. Still hanging on to a top 10 right now, but he's got Chris Hamilton on the inside of him as well. Good to see Chris out there. I haven't seen him out there on the oval side for quite some time. So we're just hopping out there tonight, getting a little bit of fun in here before the end of this season. But 2.5 seconds is now the lead out front as the 5 looking to check out and get away. Battle back here a little further in the pack as Robert Kinney going to get around the 34 of Jeff Ryan. No, you're going to my side. Yeah, you're going to my side. Yeah.
I have myself muted.
Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it. Looks like
I was talking about Chris. How obviously we got the 73 down there. We're doing it down on the inside there. No caution, keeping it down the inside. So he's gonna bring that 73. Looks like we're gonna bring it right in. So get that car repaired. But no, back with Chris Hamilton. We always used to call him not an oval guy, but he ended up doing really well for quite a many races. I guess quite a while, for quite a few races, and found himself getting a lot of second places. He got himself I think a championship or so. So just a lot of good running from Chris, and maybe he just missed it a little bit, but John Nobinger bouncing off the wall, almost got into it there with the 61.
And now the 61 is Stafford, Stafford looking for a way around. He is definitely one of those cars that's in kind of a win or not going to make it situation here as Stafford coming in. Actually, I'm going to mix up here. Stafford is actually only 5 points behind the cut line here in the gold, but he's looking up at the standings. He sees Roderick up there, Scoczen up there, Foster up there as well. So Stafford's going to need to find a way to at least get up there and battle with either Foster and or Scoczen, as Foster is 5 points ahead of him and above the cut line, and then Scoczen 6 points ahead. So real close there at the gold bubble, but still plenty of racing yet to go. Still got at least one pit stop in. And honestly, Jimmy, I mean, they're running this thing out there pretty far. Could we maybe only see a one pit stop race here tonight?
Yeah, it's going to be big.
On that
Phelps
note,
coming in.
of course. On that note, we got takers to pit lane as looks like JP Phelps and Kevin Foster heading in.
And it might be the time frame, to come in, and maybe they can make it 50 laps. But we won't know that until we see some of the other cars come in a little bit later. This could be a shortcut here by Phelps and Foster.
Now Scoczen going to peel off from the top 5 there. He's going to come in, as is your leader, Alan Elwood. Bronson Stafford also coming in, so the lead is going to go over to the 25 of Jack Stoneman for the time being. James Scioly, Tommy Ryan now up to second and third. And you see the gap is not that much, only half a second between Scioly and Stoneman here at the front of the field. So both the 70 and the 66 have made their way through the field, and they're up in the mix here already. And we're just getting to the halfway. The 25 coming in, the 70 coming in. Looks like the 66, the 9. It is starting to get busy here on pit road. Jon Nobinger are going to keep it out there for another lap, get maybe a valuable bonus point there for leading a lap here tonight. And certainly doesn't hurt. He was only 10 points ahead of the cut line coming in that silver division, so any little bonus points are going to help. Tyler Bramble may be thinking the same thing, but unfortunately he is behind Nobinger for the time being. See Alan Elwood coming out there behind, and you see you do lose a lap here, even as a leader, down a lap right now to the field. So any kind of untimely caution here tonight will certainly throw things out of whack, but we'll see probably the rest of the field coming in this time. It looks like Joe Thomas going to stick it out there. He did pit on lap 3 under the caution, so he's going to stay out there, get a lap led, kind of the same thing, maybe looking to get any kind of bonus points that he can, as he comes in there 3 points ahead of that cut line. So you want to talk about being really close, but you see the big old difference in tires as the 55 and the 70 go flying by.
Yeah, JP Phillips, obviously something went wrong on the pits there. Now 2 laps down, so maybe getting a hold for a bad pit stop.
Yeah, 54-second pit stop.
Kevin Foster. Yeah, he came in with Kevin Foster.
And even Matt Crockett looks like he had some kind of issues there. Actually, it's like Crockett. Yeah, Crockett pit on lap number 6, so that is a that was just to get some structural repairs done, I believe. But it is still Joe Thomas out there. He's going to be coming in most likely in the next lap or two. He's going to have to find a way to get down to that bottom to come in. Hopefully, there's no issues with that. As Jon Crain is going to come in this time by Ben Westen. Gonna get by, and I don't know if he got the lap lead there or not. He's certainly, again, another one right there, as he's 26 points ahead of the cut line, but anything can happen, as Van Westen was running back there a little bit, involved in that first incident. So bonus points definitely key for him as well. We'll see Van Westen, Thomas, and most like Joe Sullivan here in the next couple laps, and I'll hand that lead back over to Alan Elwood.
Yeah, 218 of Joseph Thomas coming down here into the pits. Gets not too bad of an entry. Obviously not high speed or anything, but able to keep it down here and get it in. And get that car down for the service that it needs here. So out front right now is the 76 of Joe Sullivan here for a lap or so. As we're coming across the line on lap 39, trying to make it halfway. So this Joe playing the fuel game.
Well, so Sullivan did pit on lap number 4 under the caution, so okay. He's got a few more laps, and most likely we'll see him come in this time by, and indeed see him slow up for a little bit, but actually going to stay out for another lap. So really trying to stretch this fuel mileage out, but I think it's still going to be a stretch to get to to about 44. I think at least is where he's going to need to get to when it comes to some of those pace laps that he had as well. We'll see what happens, but he is still your leader. He's out there by about 8 seconds until you get back to Alan Elwood, which is the beginning of where that pit cycle is. James Scioly in second, Tommy Ryan in third, and then Skoczen and Roderick will end up rounding out your top 5 once the 76 comes into pit lane. But gonna go around one more time, Jimmy.
He's
stretching.
At that point.
He's stretching.
He's like, I need a good finish. I haven't had a good finish in a while. I'm going to play the fuel game. Probably wasn't expecting these drivers to go, green so long. But, if he's out there so long, these drivers out there just got tires. Maybe they stay out. And he comes in, he gets new tires. You never know what can happen. But Joe coming in here at lap 42. As he just crossed the line there. Alan Elwood will resume the lead with a 4-second lead over James Scioly, Tommy Ryan, Tyler Skoczen, and AJ Roderick.
And then we got Shayne Therrien, Jack Stoneman, Bronson Stafford, Chris Hamilton, and Davey Hendricks rounding out your top 10 as they spread out here a little bit. Some close battles here and there. As you see right here, you got Shayne Therrien, Jack Stoneman, and Bronson Stafford 6th, 7th, and 8th, a little bit close on the field here. Kevin Foster's back here a little bit as he's now back to 16th position after being up there battling with these guys. But again, he did take that early pit stop in on lap number 32, and you start to wonder now that this thing has gone green. He got a little bit of a benefit early on with the short pit, but now starting to slip back. But it could also be the case that take tires. It looks like if anything he took right side tires, but he may not have taken any tires on that first pit stop. So if we get a late race caution, maybe that 8 is sitting in the catbird seat, but as of right now he's certainly hurt, and he may need to come in here a little bit early for his second pit stop, just so he's not getting completely gobbled up by the rest of the field.
Yeah, it's like getting a small wound, It's just a kid bleeding out. Bleeding out here a little bit with the 8, doing what he can to keep going. But right now, your leader, Alan Elwood, doing what he to get that final step here for the finale. To make sure that 5 has a strong showing. But I think James Scioly and Tommy Ryan are going to keep whittling that down. just plenty of time to catch them. But what are they going to do? When are they going to pit? There's a lot of kind of things up in the air. You pit early, you're going to lap down. And then how long will Elwood stay out before he comes in?
And you take a look at the pit data there. I mean, well, not the pit data, the lap data. Elwood came in on lap number 33. Scioly and Ryan came on 34, so they got 1 lap newer tires. But you see just eating into that time little by little every lap, and it was close to about a 4.5 second lead. It's now down under 4. It's down to 3.75 seconds right now between Elwood and Scioly. And I mean, realistically, when you think about it, Elwood started on the pole, and Scioly started back there in 22nd. So, you know, both him and Tommy Ryan had to pass close to 20 cars each just to get to this spot right now, and they still see themselves only about 3.5 seconds behind the leader. So they got the pace, but now just you start to think about the time kind of already. We're already past that halfway point. We're still going to have 1 more pit stop for everyone out there in the field, even for Joe Sullivan, and it looks like Kevin Foster going to be making that early pit stop here as the 8 brings it in, and this should be his final pit stop, and I'm sure we'll see that the right side and left side go up there, and I'm sure he'll be much, much happier when he comes back out.
Yeah, I'll be on flying laps here, and we'll need to kind of utilize that as possible. Hope for a green flag. You know, as one of these drivers, you know, get to it. But the 34 and the 34 battling it out here. Back here in P13 and 14 with Tyler Bramble right behind.
It is Jeff Ryan on the inside, and that's Robert Kenny on the outside. I know they're both 34 there on the track. The 034 on the outside, getting real close. Now the 39 trying to get into the mix here as well as Bramble jumps in there. Getting mighty close here as they'll still do battle off of turn number 2. 39 trying to figure out a way around, but trying to do it safely as well. Getting real close there. A little side draft action from the 034 of Kenny, just trying to stay with Jeff Ryan. Ryan is he's got 1 lap newer tires and trying to make it work here, but how about a little crossover action there as Kenny now goes from the outside to the inside, and now we'll see a little side draft action from Jeff Ryan trying to keep him in tow. And if you're Kevin Foster fans out there, you don't want to see these guys get too close, because he's going to need a long green flag run for any kind of situation to play out for him. But it looks like they're playing somewhat nice for the time being, and I'm sure Bramble is kind of looking up at them and hoping they don't get wrecked too, because he's not going to have too much time to make any kind of decision up on board here with Bramble. And watch up here as 2 34s battle it out.
Yeah, the 34 at the bottom, Kenny, is trying to keep Jeff Ryan up just a little bit higher. You can see his entry just kind of not quite getting at the 034 rotated down to yellow. So definitely give him room on the exit, but it's getting racy here, and now 39 at Bramble just
getting a little impatient.
Got to be patient.
He's getting a little impatient at this point, because he sees Jon Nobinger driving off in the distance, and that is Jon Nobinger is a guy that he's battling in his division for the points. As coming into tonight, Bramble is only 8 points ahead of the cut line. Nobinger 10 points ahead of the cut line, so they're not. They don't need to necessarily race each other. They just got to watch out for Crockett out there, as it looks like Erickson is not in the field. And Crockett right now has not had a good start of the race. He's down there in 23rd position. But so far, it looks like this battle has finally shaken out. Looks like Kenny has worn down Ryan, and Bramble has gotten in between them as well. I'm not sure Bramble wants to be in between them too long, as they're certainly getting racy out there. But out front, the lead down to 3.4 seconds now. So it's kind of evened out here just a little bit, but Elwood still showing the way. Scioly in second, and then you got Tommy Ryan not too far right behind him there in third. That's your top 3. Roderick and Skoczen close to each other as well, battle for 4th and 5th, and then you got Shayne Therrien right there poking his nose in there again. The 9 has to find some kind of speed here towards the end, or maybe have something go his way to try and get up there and get himself in the mix of this championship race next week at the beautiful Auto Club. I mean, we still got another 25, 26 laps here to go, but I already kind of got one eye on the Auto Club next week.
Auto Club just be one of our tracks here at iRacing, as it's our group with the beautiful Michigan, and just puts on some great racing, multiple lanes, and just always seems to give those results that the viewers just love to watch. So it's definitely something that we look forward to call them races there. And you know, this season sometimes I think it's felt pretty long for some of these drivers. You know, whether they've had bad races for a few weeks or a good race and then back to bad race, who knows? But things have kind of shaken out here just a little bit. Even the points still undecided as these laps here kind of dwindle down. So, but Elwood out front over James Scioly, Tommy Ryan, AJ Roderick, Tyler Skoczen for your top 5, then Shayne Therrien, Jack Stoneman, Stafford, Hamilton, Hendricks for your top 10, Cruz, Nobinger, Bramble, Kenny, Ryan, Gainey, Thomas, and Westen, Phelps, Crain for your top 20.
So pretty close here at the front. Towards the back half of that top 5 is now Jack Stoneman joining the fray here as well, as you see 4th through 7th on your screen right there, heading into turn number 1. Getting close to that second round of pit stops. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we see some guys starting to come in around lap 60. They're all easily good to go from here all the way out, but the question is, you know, how early do you want to try and take that pit stop? How early do you want to try and come in? You're going to have fresher tires than everybody else if you come in early, but you're going to have to also make those things stretch all the way out to the end, and whoever pits later is going to have those fresher tires than you. So we'll see how this all plays out here. We still got another 22 laps to go. The lead kind of leveling off still, 3.4 seconds between Elwood and Scioly. Another 0.3 back to Tommy Ryan. Getting close here in the battle for 5th place. Therrien looking for a way around Scoczen.
He's definitely trying to get around Scoczen. He needs to make his way quite a ways. It's got about 8 seconds to catch up to Elwood and 20 laps to do it. So running out of time here. Caution would definitely help the 9 just a little bit, and then can he muster up to get that 9 the same level that the 5 has pretty much demonstrated and dominated here tonight so far? So, but definitely not the pace that he wanted to get himself into those into the playoff race right now. So he needs a little bit of help.
I think as much pressure as Therrien's putting on the back of Scoczen, I think Scoczen's trying to put the pressure on the 56 here. Good move outside to inside, and turns 1 and 2. It sees the 55 of Scoczen now to the inside here of turn number 3. But you see, it's been tough sledding. It's been tough passing here tonight, and it takes a little bit of work to get around these cars, especially when you're right about the same speed. 55 of Scoczen looking for a way around. You see Therrien trying to help out his teammate there of AJ Roderick, but Scoczen seems like he's got a little bit more speed. It's just trying to get that drive off the corner. You see again that middle to high line there for the 56, working out enough to hold him down there, use up his tires, and really make him work for this, as still side by side through 3 and 4. Scoczen tries to come up there a little bit, maybe now finally clear, but now the 56 still hanging out there, just a little bit of a nose on that outside, just kind of being a thorn in the side right now, and again pulls alongside into turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, just gonna try to keep the pressure there on the 55 as the 9 is trying to work its way up around. So I think the 56 knows that the 9 is not racing with the 56, but that 55 has got a little speed, has found his way around AJ Roderick, moving up into P number 4. So, maybe Roderick is at a point where he knows he's pretty secure, or he sits and he's going to be in that playoff event. But Scoczen trying to stick to him now, and hopefully show that even depending on the results of next week. Oh, a little lock up there by the 5. Hopefully, got slowed down enough in time.
There, your top 3 in the pits as Elwood, Scioly, and Ryan all come in this time by. So we should see them all on the same tire strategy all the way to the end. Scoczen is going to go around and lead that lap there. And you seen that as soon as he cleared that 56, how much the 56 was kind of slowing him up when it comes to the battle. As soon as he got on by, I mean, he's already out there to a half a second in front of the 56. He had the speed, but even with the speed, it's been tough sledding to try and get along past these drivers here tonight. But good pass there, and now we'll see them both come into the pits real close to the back bumper there. And now a big move into the pits, and I'm not sure if the 56 got woed down there enough. Got into the side of the 55 trying to get in. And that could end up being a penalty. I mean, it's a green flag pit stop for the 56, and 56 is there sitting stationary, so I'm not sure what exactly is going on with AJ Roderick there, if something locked up on him or not. Stoneman is going to now be your race leader. We'll take a look back at the car that pit plenty early here on lap number 46, and that is Kevin Foster still.
And hopefully the 56 is out of the way. No,
yeah.
Still sitting there.
Yep, Roderick still down there on the inside, so not sure what exactly is going on there. Stoneman going to come into the pits, and how about this? We got a new leader out front. It is James Scioly that is going to end up taking over the lead this time by 2 seconds ahead of Alan Elwood. And not sure if it was 2 tires or no tires, but certainly a different pit strategy for the 70 has gotten him into the lead as Scioly looks to win 2 out of the 4 races here in the playoff round and take all kinds of momentum to that championship round next week. But he's got to be able to hold off Alan Elwood. Last lap, running the fastest lap of the race, a 30.11 for the 5. So I don't think Alan Elwood's going to let him just run away with this thing. I think Elwood wants to have that win you're in kind of, notch under his belt. He can certainly, he can let Scioly win and still make it through on points, finishing in second. But it's just something better that feels, that you feel when you get that win to lock yourself into that championship round.
Yeah, I mean, Alan's still in a good spot. So bigger picture here tonight. Obviously, it's not the championship race, but it looks like the 34 getting a little sideways
good
from the 28. So new tires on that 34 will be a little bit angry after that drift around the corner. Just a little aggressive racing there by the 28.
Yeah, it's worth noting, too, that Tommy Ryan in third is still about 3.5 seconds behind Alan Elwood. So both on the same tire strategy here, taking 4 tires on last pit stop. But he's still got a lot of ground to make up here to try and go back-to-back here. And time is ticking away. We got 12 laps to go. Now, as they cross the line, 11 laps left in this race. It's starting to click away pretty quickly here. We had the early caution involving 3 or 4 cars. A few of them playoff drivers, and it's gone green ever since. And it's really gonna be interesting how everything shakes out here tonight. And we'll see if we can get anything at least unofficial of who the playoff drivers are going to be for the championship round for next week. If not, we'll at least have the official drivers by next week before we start the race clearly. But 10 laps to go. James Scioly looking to get it done, but only 1.5 seconds separates him and Alan Elwood.
Yeah, so looking at the drivers up there, looks like Stafford, Scoczen, and Foster for your gold drivers, and they're kind of spread between 4th and 16th. Your silver drivers are sitting in 12th, 13th, and 14th, and very close together. So, and Nobinger, Nobinger leading Van Westen and Bramble. So they're not too far apart. Probably see each other at least, and obviously the pressure there on from Jon Nobinger to continue that lead of the silver drivers. Back in bronze, you got Cruz having a pretty good run here up in the top 10 at the moment. Then back to Gainey in 16th, and then Thomas back in 18th. So drivers pretty split out, but pretty close around our competitors as they work their way around here to the finish. It's around lap 73.80 with James Scioly out front over Elwood.
Well, just an update, along the lines of what Jimmy was saying. You got Stafford up there now in 4th position, and he entered tonight in the gold division 5 points down. He came in here 5 points behind Kevin Foster, but you see the disparity in positions, as right now Stafford up there in 4th position, Foster mired down there in 18th. As it stands right now, Stafford would move on, Foster would not, as Skoczen would be the second driver, Roderick would be the first driver. Those three would be the ones moving on in the gold. I don't think Roderick would be finishing far enough down here, as he would still have a decent amount of points with his drop race that he'd be able to move on, even with the issues that he had here tonight, whatever they may be. So going to be real interesting there with the gold division. In the silver, it looks pretty locked for Josh Van Westen, John Nobinger, and Tyler Bramble. Certainly Matt Crockett not having the night that he wanted to try and move up there in the standings. And then in the bronze, again, it was Cruz, Crain, and Thomas on top, with Phelps trying to make his way up there. Phelps obviously not having a good night. Jeremy Gainey, though, up in 15th. Still, a realm of possibility there for him to kind of sneak up and steal that last spot, and he only came in 7 points behind the cut line, and it was 7 points behind Joe Thomas. It's 14 points behind Jon Crain, and he's up on Joe Thomas by 1 position right now, and 4 positions on Jon Crain, so just needs a little bit more help. But it's got to deal with the leader right now, is the leader of James Scioly. Putting it down here, we got 4 laps to go. The lead is down to 1 second. As you see, Elwood just coming into the picture right there, but it's I don't think he's closing quick enough to try and mount a charge here on the 70. So it could be another win here for Scioly. Elwood, Ryan, Stafford, and Hamilton right now are your top 5. Then you got Hendrick, Stoneman, Scoczen, Therrien, and Cruz for your top 10.
Yeah, and you got Elwood's coming up on some of the bronze drivers. Obviously, are they going to just kind of lay over, give them the lane? You got just got to be careful here. Obviously, we've had our fair share of the differences.
Fumbles.
But anyways, it looks like he got around Gainey pretty easy over there, and so now just gotta keep working there on the back of the 218.
Heading on to the backstretch, it's up to 1.1 seconds right now. Closest battle on the track is right here for 4th and 5th. As Stafford has now moved himself into 4th position, so good run here for the 61. And it could be enough to get himself into that championship round as one of the competitors here in the gold. But we take a look at the front stretch, and the white flag is waving. 1 more lap to go. James Scioly looking to get it done here tonight. A different pit strategy on the last pit stop, only taking 2 tires, and it's gotten him the lead. It's gotten him a chance to win, and quite frankly, it's gotten him the win here as he heads off into turn number 3. Barring any kind of issues here, the 70 of James Scioly gonna grab himself another victory as the 5 tries to wall ride around the outside to catch up to him. Obviously, it wouldn't be legal if he did, but it doesn't matter. Still can't get there. The 70 of Scioly grabs your win here tonight. Alan Elwood comes home in 2nd. Tommy Ryan grabbing 3rd. Battle back to the line is actually going to see Hamilton get past Bronson Stafford, as that's going to be 4th and 5th. Good battle there to the end. Davey Hendricks going to get a good finish here in 6th. Jack Stoneman in 7th. Scoczen going to come home in 8th. Shayne Therrien in 9th. John Nobinger for your top 10. And for some of these drivers, that's exactly the kind of run that they needed, as Nobinger will no doubtly lock himself into the championship round in the silver division with that finish right there. Want to take a look at the rest of it. Maybe we'll get an update here tonight. If we do, we'll certainly pass on the word. But in the meantime, I want to thank everyone out there for tuning in here tonight heck of a run out here, and it is another win from James Scioly, burning it down here in the front stretch grass here at Nashville Superspeedway. We'll get a rundown of the entire results here in a second, but before we do, want to send a shout out to our series sponsor here tonight, and that being Elwood Designs, as they have been making custom liveries for the iRacing community since 2012, specializing in the NASCAR class of vehicles. They can offer designs on various other options within the service. If you're looking to make your own livery but don't have the time to make your own base design, you can purchase Elwood Design bases at simrapmarket.com. You can find Elwood Designs online on Facebook or on X. Jimmy, last race of the playoffs is done. Why don't you give us that final rundown here tonight?
A final rundown of the night here is going to have James Scioly as the winner. Then Alan Elwood coming in second place with Tommy Ryan for your top three. And then our one-off racer here, Christopher Hamilton. Obviously, we know how well he can do. Finishing fourth with Bronson Stafford in fifth, your highest gold driver. Davey Hendricks finishing in sixth. Jack Stoneman in seventh. Tyler Skoczen finishing in eighth. Shayne Therrien finishes back in ninth. John Nobinger, your highest silver finisher, in 10th. Jeff Ryan, Joey Cruz in 12th, finishing the highest for bronze. And you have Robert Kenny, Tyler Bramble, Joseph Thomas, Jeremy Gainey, Kevin Foster finishing back in 17th. JP Phillips back in 18th. 19th is going to be Jon Crain. Josh Van Westen in 20th, Matt Crockett in 21st, AJ Roderick 22nd, Joe Sullivan 23rd, Luis Orduna 24th, Dan Phelps 25th, and Tony Bramble back there in 26th. So I haven't seen Tony in a while, so he must have been out there practicing a little bit. So it's always good to see Tony out there when he can, but probably decided not to ruin anybody's chances here for us as the playoff race. So, but another great race here at Nashville Superspeedway, and once we get the points updated, we will be able to see who will fight for their championship next week. Right? Or are we taking a week off? Next week, right?
Now got me double guessing here, but yeah, it is gonna be next week at Auto Club. It's gonna be 75 laps to determine the division champions, both in the playoffs and overall. But this was a heck of a finish here tonight. We got 4 drivers that we're going to get in here. Obviously, our top 3, but then we're going to bring in Bronson Stafford here as well. Top finishing gold driver coming home in 5th here tonight. But we'll start with our top 3, and going to start with our first one here tonight. Jimmy, why don't you go ahead and take our 3rd place finisher here tonight, and that's going to be the 66 of Tommy Ryan.
Hey, Tommy, Jimmy, and Carl. Copy.
Yes, sir.
Hey, definitely an interesting track out here. Not quite a mile and a half. Concrete super speedway, as they label it. Definitely an interesting one here, as you guys only had 1 caution, and you end up here finishing 3rd. So give us a rundown how your race was, and yeah, we'll see how things were.
So I screwed up in qualifying, and I didn't leave pit road in time, so I didn't count my money lap. So I started near the back. I think I was right beside James there, and we took off. And I know James is quick, so I was like, I'm just going to let him make the holes, and I'll just follow him through there, which worked beautifully. But then Alan just had too much of a lead, and we were just like inching towards him. And I would have never guessed, when at the last stop, James took 2 tires, and I was like, what? Because on this tire model, I have never even short fueled it with nothing. It's usually wrecking loose so bad that it takes forever. And I just never could drive the car on 2 tires, especially running as hard as we did. I mean, the lefts were still, percentage wise, they were well into upper 90s. But
right.
That thought would never even cross my mind about taking 2. And he did it. And then we came out, and I was like, well, we're going to see how fast he falls. And the interval just stayed about 5 seconds. I mean, it was just like, I can't believe he made that work. But I'm like I told him, I was like, dude, I'm a fan to see it, because I wish it was more of an option in iRacing, but typically it just doesn't. But overall, real happy with where I finished compared to where I started. It was fun driving up through the field, green flag stops. It's always a challenge. And poor teammate JP got caught speeding. Just he had a lazy speed. He wasn't even trying and rolled up to, I don't know, 47 or something, and his race was done. But my brother Jeff almost got a top 10, so that was good. But pretty good night for us.
Yeah, definitely a pretty good run there by the teammates and whatnot. And yeah, Jeff had a couple close ones and had a real good battle there, also with the 034, because they were 34 both on the same screen, so it got a little confusing at times. But yeah, definitely good racing there by your brother. But always good to see you up here in the booth, and just glad to see you have another good finish this week. Obviously, you got the playoff round next week. We know you're here for the end of the season to kind of get your feet wet and get ready for the next season. But good to see that 66 up here on the podium position and fighting with the lead with these fast drivers. So we want to say congratulations and let you give you some time for any shots you might have in that 66.
Yeah, man. Thanks, Northern Tool and Equipment, Jameson Custom Corvette, and Carl for putting this on. It's real fun. You know, you get in here and mix it up with, you know, the short fuel and different strategies when you pit and 2 tires. How about that? And thanks you guys for putting on broadcast, and congrats to James again. And I'll see you guys. I don't know if I'm gonna make it next week. I'm gonna be out of town, but we'll see.
Well, I never know if the 66 is going to be there. Definitely a threat to watch out, you know, if you do. So if not, we'll see you in the upcoming season, and good luck. So, but until next time, we'll let you go celebrate with your friends and family.
All right, man. Thanks.
Later, man.
That is your third place finisher here tonight, the 66 of Tommy Ryan. Second place here tonight, and getting enough done here. I'm sure maybe not what he wanted to officially happen here, Alan. I'm sure you wanted to come home and lock it in by getting that winner in, but your teammate Scioly just has some different plans there. He decides to go with 2 tires on the last one, just enough to get it done. You almost had him only 1 second behind. Is it kind of bittersweet getting second here tonight and locking yourself in?
Yeah, 100%. That's kind of the summarization of the last couple months here. I don't know what else to do. I thought I had this one in the bag. I was feeling good, feeling comfortable, and he just pulled off a strategy that I would never think to make work, because this car just sucks on 2 tires. So it didn't even cross my mind. And then when he passed me coming out of the pits, I was like, oh, well, that's not too bad of a gap. I can manage that and close within, 15 laps or whatever. And it just didn't work. The car, I literally, once I got to about a second, we evened out, which is just absurd. But I don't know. I don't know what else to do. I mean, hats off to him. That goes to show the talent that he has. I've preached it over and over that he is by far and away the best driver in the field. And my teammates would probably agree with that, no doubt. He can make that type of stuff work. That's a pro level talent that I just don't like. I'm good, but I don't have that talent. I don't have that mentality. I guess I try to just win it on talent, and sometimes it just takes more in the brain than your right foot. So I don't know. I don't know what else to do. That's probably a precursor to what's going to happen next week. He'll pull off some strategy he'll just make work, and we'll just scratch our heads. So I don't know, but can't pout about it too much. I guess I got lucky, made it into the final 3. So.
Yeah, that's kind of my next question. I mean, how much were you stressing? Obviously, you don't have Niiko Garcia here in the field, but you still had to worry about your other teammate there, Shayne Therrien, because if Shayne wins here tonight, you're on the outside looking in. So how stressful was it tonight? How much were you really digging hard to try and get that pole in qualifying and try and get this thing done yourself?
Yeah, at times it was kind of stressful to a degree. Knowing Shayne is one of the best people on our team as far as making, going long and making fresh tires work at the end of a race. So as long as the caution didn't come out, I felt fine. But I just know that Shayne has it in him that he can, come out of nowhere and pull off a pass, like he did last week. He just, he almost could have won that race. So I knew that was going to be a challenge. But I was just hoping that it was going to go green, that it did, and like you said, I just tried to pull away as far as I could, because with the short fuel, I was like, there's not really too much of a sense of trying to save too much here. I just got to push and build a gap, and I thought I had a big enough gap, and I guess not.
Well, either way, you get it done here enough to get yourself into the championship round for next week, so you can breathe a sigh of relief that way, but not too much, because you still have to deal with the likes of obviously James next week and Clayton back in the field for next week, and it's Auto Club, so it should stretch out, width-wise, and you guys can get whatever kind of lines you want done. But I mean, with James, if he's deciding to start from the back again, that maybe just gives him more of an opportunity to run through the field. So is there anything different that you need to try and do next week, or you just got to kind of put your head down and hope things work out?
Auto Club is kind of its own animal in itself, as you guys know, with how wide it is, how many lines you can run, but the tire wear also being a huge factor. So you got to play your cards right with that. So the biggest race of the season comes down to the biggest tire wear track of the season, but also the most fun to drive. There's a reason we're doing the championship race there again. It's a boatload of fun to race, and I think there's going to be a heck of a lot of different strategies going on, and within the different divisions. I think it's going to be really interesting coming down there, and it's arguably probably going to be the most competitive championship round that Core has seen. So I highly advise everyone that watches, or maybe is just tuning in for the first time. You definitely want to watch next week, because it's going to be crazy. So I'm looking forward to the challenge. I know my teammates are going to be stout, but I have them on my team for a reason. They're really good racers. They're really good dudes. So, whichever one of us comes out, and hopefully AJ gets gold. Hopefully we'll get a couple championships there, but whoever comes out on top next week is going to earn it. So it's definitely going to be a fun race.
We'll see you competing in there with your two teammates there in the Platinum Division. But take some time to celebrate this top two here. Get yourself some homework done for Auto Club next week. See what you can do to beat James and Clayton. But before we let you go here tonight, we do want to give a shout out to our thanks to.
Shout out to the team first off. Again, congrats to James on the win, pulling it off tonight. Congrats to Shayne on a great season. It's tough to not have a teammate get in there, and Niiko as well. I know he missed the last couple weeks, but we had a hell of a run between us, all in the division there. And congrats to AJ for getting in on the gold as well. And just everybody here, SimRap, VRS, Roderick Racing Development, you guys up here in the booth, everybody watching at home. We appreciate you guys tuning in every week.
All right, buddy. We'll let you go get some rest, and congratulations once again on the podium here tonight. We'll see you next week and see what you can do for the championship.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Second place here tonight, the 5 of Alan Elwood, as he will be one of the Platinum drivers competing next week for the championship. We do have the official results. We'll get to those in a bit, but want to finish up our interviews here first, and it's going to be next in the booth. Your winner here tonight, the 70 of James Scioly.
Hey, James, it's Jimmy and Carl in the booth copy.
Hey, I got you guys.
Yeah, another start from the back, and you drive to the front, and then an awesome pit stop, making something work that nobody even thought about. Get you to win here tonight. So give us a rundown of your race, man. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Kind of a Mickey Mouse win. Elwood kind of had us covered there on the long run. Tommy and I were coming through the field, but once we got up towards the front there, we're about 4 seconds behind Elwood, I think, when we pitted the first time. So I tried to go a lap longer than him, just have a little bit fresher tires, and it definitely worked, but I only gained, by the time I came out of the pits, I think I was about 5 seconds behind him. I only gained to just under 3 seconds behind him. So I knew that I had to try something, and just kind of clicking through my tabs and saw that the left sides really didn't wear out that much on the first run. So I just thought, whatever, might as well try something. I'm 3 seconds back. If I overcut him again, I maybe get another second back, and I'm still not even close enough to do anything. So just figured that I'd take 2 and just shorten up the pit stop. I think it saved me about 7 seconds or so on pit road, and just figured I'd try it. It was not good on the pit access road, and then the first couple laps, just until the right sides came up to temp. But once they did and got to the right pressures, then I just stopped bottoming out, and the car felt really good. So
That sounds like class act move and making something work. Obviously, last decision, trying to figure out something to kind of mix it up and try to get that win. And usually when everybody does the exact same thing, the person who's leading usually wins. So you definitely were able to pull that out of the hat and get the win here going into the playoffs. So we want to say congratulations. Good luck on the playoff race next week at Auto Club, and give you some time for any shouts out in number 70.
Yeah, thank you guys. First off, shout out to you guys for broadcasting and the admin team as well. Hopefully, I don't think we had too much work for them this week, so it was a nice clean race. Shout out to everybody in the field. I really enjoyed just going green there, letting it play out natural. It was good to see. I want to shout out Elwood Designs Esports and Alan Elwood. Like I said, he definitely had us covered if it wasn't for kind of a Mickey Mouse strategy. So definitely a lot of luck involved tonight on this win. Shout out Tommy Ryan as well. It was fun coming through the field with him, and we had a good battle last week as well, so been fun racing around him. Shout out to Simrat Markey at Roderick Racing Development and Team VRS for being on the car, and hopefully we're talking to you guys in the same position again next week.
Well, I wish you the best of luck, and hopefully you get that win, and if not, a really great finish, and we'll let you go celebrate with your friends and family.
Perfect. Thank you, guys.
Is your winner here tonight, the 7 of James Scioly. Again, another one of those guys going for that Platinum Division Championship next week. We'll bring in one more driver here tonight, and that is going to be the driver of the 61, Bronson Stafford. Bronson, you came in here tonight kind of a bit of the bubble boy in the gold division, and you did exactly what you needed to do. You got yourself a heck of a finish here tonight, and it's enough to get you into the championship round as one of those gold division drivers. So I guess kind of talk me through your night and kind of the ups and downs. I mean, it kind of felt like your season in a nutshell here tonight. A little bit of up and down, but you finished on the upside.
Yeah, I'm glad that one of these races went green the entire way after the early yellow, because I feel like every week that I'm on the side of a strategy, the opposite thing I need to happen happens. So I'm glad. Car was good. Dirty air was bad. So the last stop, I was like, if I can get clean air, I think I'll be able to hold on to my spot versus trying to pass people. And that's exactly what ended up happening. We lost the one to Hamilton, but like I didn't have to race him. Foster, I think, was outside the top 15. So I was like, okay, like I don't need to race anyone here. So it worked out. I'm just glad it went green, and now we get to go to a track that I really, really like. So it's going to go bad for me, clearly.
Of course, that's how it works. Well, I mean, either way, the ups and downs of the seasons, the ups and downs of the playoffs, you see yourself now into the gold division championship round here, and the guys you're going to be fighting against. AJ Roderick, he's had a heck of a season so far. He's seemed to be kind of the class of the gold division, but you haven't really been that far behind. And when you look at tonight, you've been ahead, and same thing with Tyler Scoczen. You guys have all kind of been right around the same speed. It's just maybe AJ getting some of the luck that you guys weren't. Now you guys all get to throw it on the table for one race.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that makes racing hard, though, is luck. Because if we look at the playoff races in general, I don't even remember where we opened, but was it Indy? I think it was Indy right off the bat. Because Indy, we literally had a shot to win, got nose damage, lost like 12 spots in the last 3 laps. Just because of what happened with Stoneman hitting the turn 2 wall and nowhere to go. New Hampshire, lost the hood on a restart, didn't get a yellow until it was out of fuel, then had to get a black flag from having to pit because I was out of fuel, and ran the same speed as Scioly and Allen all race, but 26 seconds behind them, so didn't make up any spots. Charlotte went great. Like, it's just, I don't know. I'm glad tonight went well, and then, yeah, hopefully can just have one more race with nothing bad happening. I don't need good luck. I just don't want bad luck.
Exactly. Well, it turned out nicely for you here tonight. Not only do you lock yourself into the championship round as one of those contenders in the gold division, but I mean overall a pretty damn good race. You finish yourself up here in a battle at the end with Hamilton to try and get yourself into the top 4. But either way, a top 5 to finish out the playoffs got to feel pretty damn good.
Yeah, top 5's nice. Got a little bit of momentum for next week into a track that I feel much more comfortable at. Nashville is always so hit or miss for me. I think I've been really fast here 2 times. I've been really slow here like 4 or 5 times. So I didn't know what I was going to get tonight. So I'm glad to get a top 5 and make the last round and at least have a chance at it.
Well, we will see you compete next week for the championship here in the gold. So good luck on that. But before we let you go here tonight, who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
Just the Sky Motorsports team. No Justin tonight. I know he had to win to make it if he was here, but I was hoping to at least have him here, which kind of sucked. But whatever. Hopefully he's there on Thursday. Kenny obviously ran all race. He had a solid race. I think he didn't have enough laps to make the tires at the end to get a good top 10 or something out of it. And then obviously you guys putting it all together, broadcast and running the leagues and stuff like that. It's been a fun first season between this and GT. So looking forward to the rest of the week and seeing what happens.
I will wish you luck again for the championship round next week, but take some time to celebrate this one, and we'll see you at Auto Club.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
That is your 5th place finisher here tonight, and one of the drivers going for that gold division championship next week, the 61 of Bronson Stafford, to go over the championship contenders as we have it all locked in now. It is going to be in the Platinum division, the 70 of James Scioly, the 5 of Alan Elwood, and Clayton Montgomery. For some reason, I'm blanking on his number. I believe it's the 7 of Clayton Montgomery. There's going to be your 3 for the Platinum division. In the gold, it is going to be AJ Roderick, Tyler Skoczen, and Bronson Stafford. As I just clicked off the screen for some reason, as both Stafford and Skoczen finished 20 points ahead of Kevin Foster at that cut line. In the silver division, it is going to be John Nobinger, Josh Van Westen, and then Tyler Bramble by 9 points over Matt Crockett getting it done, and those will be your 3 for the silver. And then in the bronze, our closest race is going to be Joey Cruz, Joe Thomas, and then by a mere 1 point, Jeremy Gainey is going to be in there over Jon Crain, and then Dan Phelps finishing 4 points behind at the cut line. So 4 races, one of those races being a drop race. That's how close it came in the bronze division. But good luck to the 12 drivers that are going for their respective championships. And again, they're also going for the overall for the entire season as well. So good luck to everyone out there. I'm looking forward to it. I wish it was Tuesday already. I love me some Auto Club, and we got some Auto Club championship racing. It doesn't get much better than that here in the Core Xfinity Series presented by Elwood Designs. Thank you again for tuning in here tonight. If you haven't done so yet, hit that like and subscribe. Get you in touch with everything that Sierra has to offer. But for myself and Jimmy from the Nashville Superspeedway, we'll see you at the track.
Peace.